It's August 14th. Sorry, I've lost a month. I'd like to have the FFA come up and say the flag salute, please.
Ready, salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have something to report out of closed session. The board voted 5-0 to deny the claim filed by Lindsay Ramirez that was agendized as closed session item number 1 on tonight's agenda. And it was passed 5-0. Public communication. Agenda and non-agenda items. Any person wishing to comment on agenda and non-agenda items may do so. Please step to the podium and state your name. It would be appreciated if you would limit your comments to 3 minutes. California law prohibits the school board from taking action on any matter which is not on the posted agenda unless it is determined to be an emergency by the board. Per board policy BB 9323, individual speakers may be allowed 3 minutes to address the board on each agenda or non-agenda item. The board may limit the total for public input on each item to 20 minutes. With board consent, the president may increase or decrease the time allowed for public presentation, depending on the topic and the number of persons wishing to be heard. The president may take a poll of speakers for or against a particular issue and may ask that additional persons speak only if they have something new to add. Is there anyone that would like to address the board? Nobody likes it. Oh, okay. We are going to have a presentation for the FFA. May I please have you? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, may I please have, I forgot to do one vote. May I please have a motion to approve the agenda? And then second, okay. Mr. Bizarre and Mrs. Hurst. Mr. Bizarre. Mr. Cabral. Mr. Reed. And Mrs. Cordy votes aye. Passed 5-0. Thank you. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Logan Garcia, and I am my chapter's president. This year, we chose the theme, Today's Actions Are Tomorrow's Results. We chose this theme because we believe that today's choices can affect tomorrow's results and for the rest of our lives. Next, my officer team will introduce themselves.
Serving as our chapter's treasurer. This is Ryan Marqueen, and I am serving as your 2023-2024 public relations. Good evening, my name is Marley Reynoso, and this year I am serving as your chapter reporter. Good evening, everyone. I'm Claudia Gonzalez, and I am serving as vice president.
Do we want to turn out some light so it's easier to see?
Excellent. Good. One more. Okay, so next, my officer team is going to show you guys some of the courses that we have to offer at Orriston High School in the Ag department.
I'd like to start off by welcoming our new member to our FFA family, Mr. McGuire. He is our new plant science and ag mechanics teacher. And his goal here at Orriston is to really get kids more involved in our greenhouse. And he will do that by fruit and vegetable production and nursery plants. So keep an eye out for our plant sale announcements. And for floral, we have 2 classes, and Intro to Floral teaches you all the basics that you need for the floral industry and really just teaches you everything you need to know. As for our advanced class, that one is really hands-on. And one of my favorite things about it is we have our monthly subscriptions that people, not just at Orsimba, but everyone in the community can purchase, and you get a really pretty floral arrangement. So, thank you.
Hi, I'm going to be talking about the animal science and veterinary science courses that we have at Orsimba. If you take animal science and veterinary science and complete them with a good grade, you get a medallion to wear at graduation. In animal science, you learn about the anatomy and physiology of an animal, as well as the livestock production. You do a lot of dissections in that class, and if you like that kind of stuff, it makes it a lot of fun. In veterinary science, you learn the skills and techniques it takes to become a veterinarian. Thank you. Okay, so our ag science class is a class strictly for freshmen, and it is the first class that we offer for our freshmen. And it is basically the introduction to our ag program for our freshmen, and we get them used to the idea. It is more of a hands-on and project-based learning class. This is the first class to be taken in order to be a pathway completer, which we will get into a little later. Our advanced interdisciplinary science for sustainable agriculture is our ag honors class, and it is actually the only honors class that we have at our ag department at OHS. It is the capstone class that encompasses what our seniors have learned from their freshman year all the way up to their junior year. It is, it is more of a group project, and we do a lot of public speaking in that class. One of those group projects being they developed their own food product and they put together a marketing plan for it. Thank you. I'll be talking about the 4 shop classes our ag department has to offer. Ag Mechanics 1 is a basic class where students will be exposed to all the different trades they will be learning. Towards the end of the school year, students will be expected to build a small project based on their knowledge. Moving on to Ag Mechanics 2, it is a more advanced class that Ag Mechanics 1 students will be moved on to and will learn the basics about welding and also be expected to build a small welding project towards the end of the school year. Welding and ag fabrication are our more advanced and higher classes for a shop, where students will learn the basic techniques of ag fabrication, project planning, and will also be expected to build a medium to large size project that will be displayed at the Stanislaus County Fair. Thank you.
Biology and ag chemistry are both hands-on classes where students will complete several projects throughout the year. In ag biology, students create diagrams and structures of cell systems. In ag chemistry, throughout the year, students participate in several labs where they test different solutions to find whether they are an acid or a base.
So these are 2 of the 4 courses that we have, or ag pathways that we have at our school. So our first one is ag science. So you start in your first year, you take ag science, then you move on to ag biology, and then you take ag chemistry. And the capstone class is advanced interdisciplinary science for sustainable agriculture, which is like our honors class for ag. And then the fabrication pathway is ag mechanics 2, welding, and the capstone is fabrication. And after these, after you take these pathways, you receive a medallion at graduation if you pass all of the classes.
So we have another pathway, or 2 more pathways. Our vet tech pathway is like 4-year class process, and you start in ag science, you move on to ag biology, you can take animal science, and then your capstone class is vet science. For our floriculture pathway, you start in ag science, you take ag biology, and Then your next class is Introduction to Floral, and your capstone class is Art History of Floral Design.
So all of the ag classes that we have at OHS are A through G approved, meaning that our students not only get graduation credits, but they also get college credits with Modesto Junior College. We have our lab sciences being our D category, and we have ag science, ag biology, ag chemistry, and so on. For floral, we have our F category, which we have Introduction to Floral Design and art history of floral design. Our articulated courses, we have 3, being ag welding, animal science, and veterinary science. And for our students that take these 3 courses, they get college credits with Modesto Junior College. So every other year, we take a group of students to Indianapolis, Indiana, for our national convention. And this year, we're fortunate enough to be able to take a group of 8 students with Ms. Pritchard and Mr. Smith. They leave October 31st and they return November 4th. And we have been doing a lot of fundraising for them, and we will continue to do fundraising. So if you guys are interested in donating and helping out those students that are able to go, keep an eye out and we will have more fundraising.
So FAIR is,
I think overall, we need to give credit to everyone involved in FAIR, not only the student who shows the animals, but our teachers and our parents who are there for us. It should be noted the dedication of all of us as we invest our own money and long hours. We wake up early in the morning to feed our animals, and a lot of us are active in other clubs and organizations. We also do sports, and we have to go feed in the afternoon. We have to work with our animals. I mean, we spend a week at fair during the summer. With that being said, I think we should take a moment for our top winners, which would be Charlie Slimas, 3rd place Milk Cow, Logan Garcia, 1st place Market Hog, Madison Beach Reserve Supreme Champion Buck, and myself, 2nd place Market Lamb. Thank you. In this photo, these are all of our exhibitors except our dairy exhibitors, as they were there the previous week. And here are some of our exhibitors.
Career development events, or CDEs, are competitive teams that are held throughout all of California. You and your teammates will go and compete to win ribbons, and some of the ones we are participating in this year are welding, floriculture, and impromptu. Thank you.
SAE stands for Supervised Agriculture Experience, which is a required project that all FFA members must complete from their sophomore year up until their senior year every year. These projects teaches students how to handle money along with other responsibilities that they can learn throughout their projects. Some of our examples of projects students can participate in are showing any market animals like a hog, market lamb, market rabbits. They can have work experience or even start up their own business. This expands students' knowledge of livestock and nutrition, and teaches students a lot of responsibility. Thank you.
On behalf of Newman FFA, we would like to thank all of you for allowing us to speak here tonight. Also, thank you to our principal, Ms. Cron, for providing you with freezer bags with some of our very own FFA raised pork. Enjoy.
I would just like to comment to the FFA students. I would like to comment, I'm watching those fair photos. It was so hot. And you guys did a great job.
I also have one question. I have the inception of the floral design class when you get, I want it again this year. So when do you want me to write a check now? Oh, thank you. They are amazing. I always look forward since my husband likes trees. I like flowers. Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you for all that you do.
Thank you guys
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you. Summer programs. Or is Allison going to? Oh, just Brandy.
I'm going to kind of give you an overview of the district traditional summer school that we offer every year. And then Mrs. Cassidy will talk about the super fun summer camp that she offered as part of our extended learning opportunities grant. So as you can see, and first of all, I want to call out, I'm just up here speaking on behalf of Mrs. Artiaga and Brandy Peterson. She's a kindergarten teacher that took on the elementary summer school principal job, and Mrs. Artiaga did the secondary. So you can correct me if I say anything wrong, Rosie. They did the slides. We're just I'm up here just kind of presenting at the district level. So our summer school was held at HBE. It's always 20 days. We had it at Barrington. 200 students in the morning session, which is our traditional summer school. And then Mrs. Cassidy had 50 students in the afternoon session. And many of those kids may have done both. Correct. I think many stayed from 8 in the morning until 5 in the afternoon. So that was a good opportunity for our kids to spend a lot of time, especially the ones who may be home all day in a controlled setting, a structured setting. Secondary, between OHS, YOLO, and credit recovery, they served 450 students. So these are just some of the highlights. I'm not going to read them all, but they really, basically the goal of summer is enrichment and support. And so we used iReady, which is a program that does basically instruction in reading and math, an online program. That was part of it. They did a lot of assemblies and field trips and making sure the kids wanted to be at summer school every day. So there was always something engaging that they could look forward to every day. And these were just some of the items. Here are some pictures of students. They had 47 of those students that came to summer school every single day. And when you're in 5th grade, that's not always easy to get up and be at summer school every day. So they had a lot of good participation. And these are just some pictures of their Friday assemblies and some of the assemblies that they had where they brought in outside vendors, and the kids love Python Ron. He's goes all over the district. So you'll see they kind of get involved. And so the kids really enjoyed summer school. We got really good feedback from our families. I'll let Mrs. Cassidy talk about ELOP, which is a little bit different.
So what we did was the ELOP funding, you guys will remember, requires us to try to keep kids on campus for a minimum of 9 hours a day. So we did the piggyback thing. So the students that were already invited, the couple hundred that were already invited to participate in summer school, which is summer school, even though it's not, but that's what kids think. So we were kind of trying to be the carrot, keep you on campus, and then that makes for a 9-hour day. And of our 150, about 110 of them were summer school students. So it worked. It probably also really worked for moms and dads because they were with us all day. But we are we're even in a more luxurious position when it comes to my programs because there's more wiggle room, right? We connect it to content standards, but we get to do even more fun stuff. So we did a whole lot of fun stuff. I won't read it, but there was themes. There was costumes. We hired a series of different people to come in and do fun assembly stuff. It was a big hit. And when we did our survey at the end for the parents, which I should have included here, it was exceedingly well received. So I'm very, very proud of that. There's a second one. Oh yeah, just a whole bunch of different pictures for you. And then in July, the grant required us to provide 10 days of programming in July. And we did a staffing survey, and it was very hard. We had a bunch of people that wanted to work in June and a bunch of staff members that wanted July off before they came back. We ended up having 4 who wanted to work. So we reached out to the community and we ended up contracting with the Boys and Girls Club of Merced County. So it was still our show and it was at Hunt and we were still there every day, but it wasn't our people. It was people that they hired from Newman and from Gustine and from Merced, but they came here and ran the program at Hunt for us. We just kind of watched over it, made sure everything was good and fun and safe. And it was well received. So also similar themed weeks. We served when did we serve? In the July program. 100. Okay, a little under 100. So we met our grant stipulations as far as providing summer stuff and making it a 9-hour day. So any questions I can answer? Okay, thank you.
So for secondary, we held summer school at Yolo Middle School. And when we get up to the secondary, we really have to reel them in. So there was a lot of choice for these students. And I think they were able to pick a session that they were really interested in. We also offered the Bridge program, which is for students who struggled as 8th graders and were non-promoters. And I believe, and Rosie, correct me if I'm wrong, they actually attended their Bridge program at the high school. No, they stayed at YOLO. Okay, they were at YOLO. And it was really a lot of teaching them some skills that might help them better acclimate at the next level at high school. And then there were a lot of hands-on experiences, and they had their highlight was a rocket launch at the end of the session. And then I think we have one more slide. High school. We had a lot of athletic camps at the high school. Those are popular. And it's great. And we're inclusive of all students. So it's not just if you're already on the softball team, you get to go to the softball camp. Anyone who's interested in that sport can go for the summer camp. So we had football, softball, volleyball, baseball, lots of credit recovery kids. And we had our ELD Academy and theater. And the focus, and Mrs. Arteaga's slide, was to have students stay active, acquire skills, and to remediate some students who were credit deficient, to give them the opportunity to kind of catch up a little bit before they started their next school year. Any questions? I just really appreciate the hard work of Mrs. Arteaga, Mrs. Cassidy, Juana, and Mrs. Peterson, who's not here tonight. It was their show. They ran it all and they did a great job. I don't even think we got called once. No, I don't think anybody ever had to call us at all for anything. So it was great.
Board President Conforti.
Yes.
So during the FFA presentation, Vanessa Cron wasn't here, and I wonder if you could come up to the podium just real quick. She was doing some stuff back at the school, and maybe explain a little bit kind of what we have here that we got for a gift bag.
I went to the fair and I saw our students present their animals. They did an amazing job. There are 3 kiddos who didn't have buyers that day, so I bought their hogs. And it was wonderful. Lupe actually bought half of one of the hogs, which is fantastic. The other half you see in front of you, that is in your bags. So now you get to taste the difference between our kids' hogs and what you get in the grocery store. And I assure you, it's going to taste way better, the stuff that our students raised. You're going to love it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Okay.
great.
The USDA Healthy Foods Incentives Initiative, Mrs. Mendoza.
Yes, earlier this year, we had the opportunity to write a grant for small school districts and rural districts. There was an opportunity, and through the USDA and the Healthy Meals Incentive Initiative, the Action for Healthy Kids Foundation is the one that's administering the grant. And they awarded about $30 million in subgrants to 264 districts across the states. And we were one of them. We received $150,000 for the next 2 years, which we will be looking to contract with a chef to bring up to work with our food service staff. And then eventually we will work with CSEA to do a job description to hire our own in-house chef and to keep ongoing. But the startup money, the $150,000 can be used over this year and next year. And there's lots of quarterly reporting and things like that that go along with it, but this is really to further develop the skills of the staff that we have. So I'm really looking forward to that.
We have a new student rep and it's Grace Tudor. And Grace, just a heads up, if at any time when we have a meeting and you need to leave early because you have tests or something or need to do something for school, just let us know. We can always put you earlier. Okay, and we're interested in hearing what you have to say about what the high school's been doing all week.
Okay, there's not much to report because it's just the first day, but football just had their 7-on-7 scrimmage last Friday. And this Friday, we're playing a home game against Grace Davis. Volleyball and girls flag football have a scrimmage on Thursday. And leadership is planning a rally for not this Friday, but next Friday. And yeah, that's.
Thank you. You're going to be busy the next couple months, but thank you very much.
I'm going to ask her a question. Grace, other than what you're doing here, you do a few things, right?
Yeah, I Miss Newman first runner up and Miss Congeniality. So I do a lot of the things for the fall festival and I cheer.
Yes.
Yes,
That's a lot.
thank you.
Thank you.
Consent calendar. The consent calendar items are routine in nature and usually do not require board discussion. Individual items may be removed by board members and presented for discussion and separate action. The consent calendar will be adopted by a roll call vote. Okay, may I have a motion to approve the consent calendar? Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral? Mrs. Hurst?
Aye.
Mr. Riviers?
Aye.
Mrs. Forty votes aye. Okay. Action items, approve 5-year extension for services agreement with Dale Scott and Company.
I received a letter from Del Scott recently. We are going to be looking at some projects down the road. And so he offered to do an extension of the current agreement that we have to go through the next 5 years. I think it's really important that we have continuity in our financial advisory services. He and I were emailing back and forth today because I got a email and I said, okay, now that if you're doing all of the exclusive services, what is this? And so he told me that this is a different kind of financing. So we are looking at different things out that are different financing options that are available. And he will advise us on that, not just on bond projects. So we're just looking for your approval on extending his services.
And we will be extending the services that we already have and whatever else he needs to
Yes.
help us with.
Yes.
Okay, I'll make it. May I have a motion?
I make a motion that we approve Dale Scott and Company.
May I have a second? Mr. Bizarre?
Aye.
Mr. Cabral? Mrs. Hurst? Aye. Mr. Rivas? And Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. Approve the 2023-2024 consolidated application for funding. Mrs. Mendoza? No. Yes.
So the consolidated application is the application for federal funding, and it puts everything in one application. It looks at our LCAP, it looks at our federal addendum, and it looks at that we've gone through the process with our DLAT committee, which we have. So this will be the application for Title I, Title II, Title III, and Title IV funding, and they put it all under one umbrella.
May I have a second? Mr. Bazar? Mr. Cabral? Mrs. Hurst? Aye. Mr. Rivas? Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. Approval of local performance indicators self-reflection. It was interesting.
This an annual report or self-reflection that we do that is part of the California School Dashboard. It's approved now, but it'll be published later on this year.
May I have a motion to approve the local performance indicator self-reflection?
Second.
Mr. Bazar? Mr. Cabral? Mrs. Hurst? Aye. Mr. Rivas? Mrs. Conforti votes aye, 5-0. Approval of a provisional internship permit, PIP, for Stephanie Mora Hernandez. Mr. Pruitt.
Yes, we have a teacher that qualifies for a pre-intern permit, and they need your approval to be able to apply and work with the county on their permit starting tomorrow.
May I have a motion of a provision? May I have a second? Mr. Bazar? Mr. Cabral? Mrs. Hurst? Aye. Mr. Rivas?
Aye.
Mrs. Conforti votes aye, passed 5-0. Future agenda items. Does one have something like they would like to bring up for next meeting? Oh, I have. Okay, right now, there isn't anything. Mr. Philpott, would you like to give your superintendent's report?
Well, thank you. First, I just want to say it looks like we had a great opening day. And I credit basically the leadership of each site and the teachers and staff of making things very seamless. Everything looked pretty smooth. And that's great. That's great to see. I also just want to publicly say that we're going to be meeting with the city to kind of have a discussion about a joint use agreement on the pool and the tennis courts. We're going to try to schedule a 2+2 meeting on August 29th at 4 p.m. So I'll confirm that with Mr. Holland and get back to you on that. We will be trying to identify the state standards basically related to swimming, and so that it can be put in the curriculum as well. Also, just want to remind you at the next board meeting, there'll be the 2 executive search firms for the superintendent position. We'll make a presentation. They should be delivering actually proposals a little bit early. I'll get those to you as soon as possible, so that you'll have an opportunity to take a look at those.
Thank you. Board reports, Mr. Bazar.
Well, I just want to welcome everybody back. It was sort of I knew today was the first day of school because I knew I was coming here and had seen the agenda, but it still was startling to see kids walking by on their way to either Hunt or the high school this morning. And it was also a little bit startling to see them leaving. They left a little early today, and I think they're leaving all this week early. But it's amazing, at least for me as an old man, how fast the summers go. So anyway, it's nice to see you guys back. I think in my driving around town, I want to compliment everybody. The facilities look great, particularly the high school, but not just the high school. Honestly, all the campuses look nice. And I don't know, it just is a nice thing to live in Newman and see how pleasant our school environment is for our kids. I've had kids who went through, from kindergarten all the way to high school in these schools, and I think they've improved every time, every year. So thank you very much for the work you do.
Thank you, Mr. Bazar. Mrs. Hurst.
I too would like to welcome everyone back. And back to school festival was great. It was a very, very hot day and I really wanted to crawl in that pool. So, but they just wouldn't let that happen. A message came out this morning. I think it was a Facebook message by one of our grandmothers. And she put out something, and I don't know where she got it from, but it said something along the lines, if you see someone who's sitting alone in the cafeteria, sit with them. If you see someone who's being bullied, try to intercede, whatever. And it went through all of these things and it ended by saying, be a warrior. And so I really hope that it's a very pleasant year and I wish you all well.
Mr. Rivas?
Welcome back, everybody. As a parent, I was happy for the kids to go back to school for other reasons. My kids really didn't want to go back. They weren't ready, but I met with all the new employees today. It was nice to meet everybody. And I think every school is on the right track. And I can't wait for, to hear good things the next meeting and here on out. So welcome back, everybody.
Mr. Cabral?
Like they all say, a lot of campuses do look great. A lot of people going back to school. I did also attend the back to school festival. Special thanks to the Miss Cassidy and all the people that helped put it on. A lot of people there. I stayed the whole time. It was packed. And I just want to say special thanks to Matt Vargas. He was out there giving pool tours all day in the sun, wearing his nice little, sombrero hat. And I'm not gonna lie, I took 2 tours because I just wanted 2 balls. So thank you for all the people that helped at the back to school festival. There was tons of stuff for the kids to do, a lot of good informational booths. So thanks for all that helped put that on and make it a great success for the kids.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank, I really had a really good time on Saturday. It was fun and watching everything. Only we were right next to the loudspeakers. It was a little loud, but it was really good. And going to see the pool, it looked so nice and pristine. I'm surprised we didn't try to jump in. And the first bus at Diablo Grande was 6:22 a.m. And they got off well. It came out nice and parents were smiling. And then when they were gone, they were like, whew, they're on the bus. But thank you, everybody. And staff, please enjoy yourself. I mean, this is a good year. We're going to have lots of things happening between the tennis courts and the pool and all the new things. And if you need any help or need to talk to somebody, just call the office. Thank you. Have a good day.
I just want to ask a quick question. Vanessa, this is not pickled pig's feet, right?
Okay. May I have a motion? Have a second? Oh. Okay, all in favor?
Did you get that, Nancy? Nancy, did you get that? Did she get that? Get the motion and the second?
Yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, oh, I have them here. Oh,
Okay, I do
Thank
have
you.
one for you. It's, I keep catching.
We were adjourned, right?
yes, I said it right. Yes.